Hai, Assalamualaikum, Harith Iskander here. Baru-baru ni saya banyak terima video WhatsApp orang bunuh diri, gantung diri, lompat daripada bangunan. Saya tak dapat membayangkan apa yang terjadi kepada seseorang tu yang menyebabkan dia sampai tahap tu. Tapi saya tahu kes-kes ni bukan apa yang kita terima kat WhatsApp. Yang kita terima hanya segelintir. It's only a tip of the iceberg. Ramai sangat orang kat luar sana tu menderita juga. Hundreds if not thousands. That's why pergerakan bendera putih ni begitu mustahak. Kalau anda nampak bendera putih kat mana-mana, kat rumah ke, kat bangunan, pergi tolong. See what you can do, try and help that family or that person. Kalau anda tak dapat tolong ataupun anda tak mampu tolong ataupun anda sendiri memerlukan pertolongan, please contact the Hope Branch. Itulah NGO saya. Nombor dia 019-709-3103, 019-709-3103, and we will try and help. Kalau boleh bagi butir-butir macam alamat ataupun lokasi ataupun phone number supaya kita dapat cari orang tu ataupun keluarga tu, and we will do our best. Sedaya upaya we will try and help. Now is the time. Inilah waktunya kita semua sebagai bukan sebagai Malaysian, sebagai manusia, kita kena tolong satu sama lain. We have to help each other. Tolong jiran kita, tolong keluarga kita, tolong orang yang kita tak kenal. We must help each other. Kita kena berdiri sebagai manusia. Just be human. Be a human being and help your fellow human being.
Harith, you know that the video that you had posted has been really emotional. I could see the whole your whole feelings been poured out and been expressed, and I could see the sadness in you. This is something that not many Malaysians have seen. They have seen yourself as a comedian. They have seen the way you conducted your podcast, but this is something they have never seen. I mean, you were really choking with emotions. Now, after that video clip was uploaded, what has been the reactions? Because I was told it was viewed 1 million times. Is that correct?
Potentially, yes, if not more, because it was also shared on WhatsApp. I began receiving the WhatsApp version back to me from all my groups. So you know something has gone viral when people are sharing it back to you. So to go back to your question, okay, so the main thing that we noticed, because I stated the phone number for the helpline and I said it out, literally by the time when the video came out, the next day, I'm not even kidding, the phone rang non-stop. That's just the ringing part. The WhatsApps went up to about 800 WhatsApps. So the people who are calling are generally older people in their 60s and 70s because they are not familiar with you know, WhatsApp and all that. And you know lah, older people, when they call, they're chatting, they want to talk, people are crying. So my wife found on the first day that, oh my God. And my wife actually layan old people. So she will layan them. While she's talking to one person, 3 other missed calls coming through. So, and that has continued, by the way, over the days. So the first thing that we noticed was, you know what? If this one helpline is ringing off the hook, can you imagine all the others from Uncle Kentang and Abid Liu or Pertiwi? That just goes to show the need, the desperation, the you know, whatever out there is not, you can't dismiss it and just say, hey, kalau you know, if they want help, just go and see the kebajikan. It's not as dismissible as that. It's a real need, I would say, out there.
Generally, what do these people ask for the most? What do they need the most?
Okay, there is, it goes from everywhere. Okay, so of course there are a few people, you know, I haven't paid my rent, my electricity bill. We get that. A lady called from Penang talking about all the alongs she's in debt with. Okay, and then what we are looking for is, and a lot of them is just basically, saya tak makan. or I haven't eaten for X amount of days or whatever like that. So at most, I feel people just want help, meal, kitchen goods, diapers is very big, especially for people with children. And then what we try to do is, okay, you are one family. Can you let me know if there are other families around you? So we maximize the reason to reach out to you or to send something out to you. But yeah, people just everyone has, I don't know the statistics. Everyone's lost a job. Everyone's not able to pay rent, and that just tumbles down to the basic necessity of food.
Harith, after this lockdown, the loss of jobs since the MCO one until now, I've got a lot of stories to share too. Usually when you talk about asking for help, needing help, we think of the B40, those that desperately needs help. But I can tell you, a lot of people on the M40, the middle class, have slid down to B40.
Yeah.
In chat groups, some of my friends tells me that there are people who studied together in school, in a chat group, and suddenly they're asking for help, and they find really unbelievable that their friends, their ex-schoolmates have lost jobs for almost a year. And suddenly they realize that they have got to sell off their cars, sell off their belongings, just to put food on the table. They are the only wage earner in the family, and they can't just walk off like that, And that there are many of these skills which have emerged, evolving the middle class. Sometimes when we talk about help, the white flag, we only think of the desperate ones, but really amazing stories of people in M40 have slid down. According to the statistics that's available, the Economic Advisory Council, it says that there are 900,000 households in Malaysia that has slid down to a B40, and that's only the 2019 statistics. Can you imagine the last 2 years, the numbers have gone up? So it's sad.
So I heard someone mention that it's now being called B60. We are 60% of the population.
Quite possible, and that there are no real statistics available.
No, there are no real statistics. But you, like you say, you're experiencing it within your small group of people. I can see it on the streets. So, for example, the whole branch on a weekend basis, we're on Saturday and Sunday, we're at the Gelendangan in Medan Tuanku, which is typically homeless. But we are beginning to see people with very decent clothes, very decent shoes, lining up. And then you may say to yourself, hey, why that person lining up? I'm sure he's doing okay. Yeah, he may have been doing okay up to a month ago, but now he's desperate. But he's not going to look like a homeless. He's still got his nice shoes, nice shirt, and nice pants and nice belt. But in the last month, slid down into, I can't even afford a meal. But he's going to wear, he's not going to, wear something else. He's going to wear what he has. So we are noticing that right now at the Gelendangans.
Because obviously that the man has got to keep his dignity. It's not a destitute.
Yeah, exactly.
I know of another case where he's the head of the family. He was a Grab driver, and then he was hit by COVID-19. And suddenly the daily wage that he has been earning has suddenly stopped. And the family is now having difficulties living on their savings, which are really shrinking away. I have also heard a story just 2 days ago from a member of the royal family. She has been doing a lot of groundwork, has been operating in KL, distributing food. And she told me she adopted a family where this particular breadwinner, he has lost his job, but he has got 2 other kids which has got brain tumor problem, another one with a hole in the heart, and the wife is not working. So you can imagine someone who has lost his job, and they all depending on you, and they are sort of like the people with serious health problem. That is really a sad case. And previously those of us who do street feeding, we only just distribute food, distribute nasi lemak. Sometimes it's overloaded with nasi lemak. But then have you seen any change since the days? I mean, you started this street help long ago before this COVID thing. What do you see? I mean, apart from the change it has affected the middle class, what are the ones which gives you a lasting impression of people being hit pretty bad?
Well, the fact that you see a friend or someone you knew, line up. I take the time as well to talk to the people, to talk to some of them regulars, and I mean, it is doom and gloom. and people travel a long way on buses and free bus and all just to come for a meal and a fruit and a something and a bread and a water. And sometimes I think to myself, and sometimes people come, and collect for 7 or 9 for families. It's like, imagine having to do that twice, if not 3 times a day, that your time is spent going for a meal, not time spent working to earn to go for a meal. Your time is actually spent every hour and a half just going for meals. So, like I said, I bumped into someone I was familiar with, that I knew, who was lining up, had fallen on hard times. It's everyone has a story. Everyone has but given that, I mean, many are there because pandemic or no pandemic, they would have been there already. So what I want to point out is that the actual homeless, those who are, I would say, not the word professional, but if they are truly homeless, they're kind of found their own way over the, however long they've been there, 5 years, 8 years, 3 years. It's the ones who are, like you say, within our WhatsApp groups, who find themselves slipping. They are in a new platform. They have no idea what to do, and the dignity level is different, and it's really, really hard to think about, or to say, well, what can be done? Or currently our only reprise is to, okay, let's just help them while we can, but somehow I'm trying to think in the long term, how to get people back on their feet, how to get give dignity back to people. So what we are starting to do is, there are a couple of people. I'll give you one example. There's a gentleman that every time after we give out all the food, he stays back, then he starts collecting all the boxes. He asks for the boxes, and he presses them down. And so we can see, okay, this guy wants to work. He wants to earn whatever he can. He never asks us for anything. So now we have offered him, listen, since you're already doing this, what else can you do? Can you come and help us? And he's almost become a volunteer, but we pay him, just cash in hand. But at least it gives him some dignity that he is working for his keep. And this is something that if you can instill in more and more people, then people can pull themselves out. Because at the end of the day, how long do you require NGOs to help?
Yes.
People say to me, how long you can feed people? But you're right. I can't do this forever. So I'm just trying to find ways to help people have some dignity and pick themselves back, at which point we can go, job done,
Yeah. And I think that generally that these people will want to sustain themselves rather than to keep on lining up for some food, I understand that. I know of a couple, an elderly couple, very old couple at Brickfields. I went to one of the feeding, activity run by Kenosis Home in Brickfields. And I saw this old couple which regularly takes their grandchild along to queue up for food. So I asked them, why are you taking this your grandchild along? They said their parents have disappeared because they owe too much money to Along, and they have abandoned the kid and just dump it onto their grandparents. And the grandparents, who are not working, suddenly found that they have to take care of their grandchild. And the only way to keep on going is to lie for food. This is really heartbreaking, but these are reality on the ground. Now, I want to move on to another thing. That we have talked about the white flag movement, the Bendera Putih. I do not see too many of it, but on social media, it's much more easier to locate the white flags. Okay, there are what they call it, links being made to find them. Okay, in moving around, what is your view on this white flag movement? Has it really called on physically, or is it just on social media?
Number one, it's, for me, I just think, just in terms of the intention, it's absolutely amazing. It is a message being sent out, not necessarily to the government, as was accused by certain Menteri Besars, but it is a message to everyone. Hey, everyone, look left, look right. There is someone beside you potentially who just needs a meal. That's what it is at its basic point, which is actually factual as far as I'm concerned. Number one. Number two, you may not see it much on social media because the idea is meant to be, you don't go around, filming it and saying, hey, I tolong orang ini with a white flag, because we want to maintain the dignity and marwah and all that. Number three, I think what it has done is it's brought a certain awareness. Of course, with any new movement, then everyone jumps on it and says, "Oh, I put a box here with rice and chicken and egg, and anybody can come and take." And I've seen that happen around the area, certain places, which is great. But those who are on the ground, who do NGO work, can see the pitfall of that, because one person will come along and take everything. The awareness factor is absolutely amazing, and it just made people think. But generally with anything that has become hot for a while, eventually it'll die down. But with anything that dies down, hopefully there is the percentage, the sisa, a percentage of people who continue doing good, continue. Before that, didn't even think about it. After that, I'm thinking, you know what? Let me see what I can do. Let me throw this one thought at you. This is a wild social idea. Right now, people will say, "Oh, I cannot. Well, you guys are good, lah. Your whole branch very good. You can go and feed 1,000 people. I cannot. I cannot." What if this is totally wild? What if the country had a poverty tax where the mid 20s or 40s and the top 20s were taxed to take care of one family, just one family? So let's say there are 20,000 top 20. I'm just throwing a very low number, 20,000 top 20s. All of you were taxed every year, once a month, to take care of one family. Immediately, 20,000 families are taken care of, which immediately means the NGOs who are currently taking care of that 20,000 families are now freed up to take care of another 20,000 families, which means 40,000 families are now taken care of. So at the end of the day, it really is rakyat untuk rakyat. Is everyone, you, me, watching, each one of you said to yourself, I see this family, it's a single mother with 3 kids, and she only needs 350 ringgit a month to just survive. And she already has 350 ringgit a month, so she has 650 ringgit a month. I will take care of her, and that's my commitment. That is my insurance I pay every month. I'm going to pay to her. Immediately, that child goes to school, gets proper milk, and doesn't grow up to be a drug addict or a gangster. And you have, by definition, just shifted a potential life. Do you see what I'm saying? Where everyone realizes, oh, I don't need to feed 100 people. I just need to feed one person. And if we can all have that mindset, rakyat untuk rakyat, kita jaga kita, what a change that would be. You're never going to eradicate poverty, but if you can change one life, and to me, what's more important is you change one life, you change the child's life. If there is a child, and there's so many children out there, that they don't grow up thinking, this is all that's destined for me. I now have an opportunity to do something else. And that parent may not have that opportunity, but at least give it to the child. And it's not up to the parent. It's literally up to you who can afford to give it to the child.
Yes. There's another way of doing it. Of course, now we have this tax deduction for those of us who contribute to foundations and NGOs. They could also provide tax relief instead of taxing, but tax relief for contributions, as you say, to certain families that we are responsible for. If you're registered, okay, I'm registered to take care of this group of Orang Asli or this very poor family. I'm responsible for it. You're properly accountable. I get a tax relief. Okay. Another way, of course, is in some European countries where if you contribute certain amount of your time, okay, to take care of an old person, an elderly person, or poor person, the time deducted, there is a monetary value to it when you reach a certain age, which means that, okay, if I start working now to help the poor at 50 years old, 40 years old, then I start contributing until I'm 70 years old. Once you reach 70 years old, when you have to have diseases, problems, health problems, then you are given certain privilege when you're at the hospital. The amount of time spent can be translated into converted into money.
It's like an EPF or SOCSO, but with time.
Yes, but the point, as you say, is to get yourself kita jaga kita, that you're actually working to help them. I mean, there are many ways and creative ways we could learn from countries which has become much more kinder because they have become much more developed. You know, they look at these things, you know, and this is actually a good time for us to say it also that, look, kita jaga kita. If you really depend on government, it's not going to happen. It will take ages. And I know what you're doing and many NGOs are doing is just it's a small thing, you know. We are filling up potholes, but somebody has got to do it. Back to the white flag thing. Do you feel that Malaysians who are in need are still shy to put up the white flag or to wave a hand to say that I need help. Do you detect that?
I think that is without a doubt, yes. We are experiencing it in the phone calls. We'll get a phone call, for example, from a lady who may come off as a little bit arrogant, like, I'm vegetarian. What do you bring? What do you have? What do you give? Blah, blah, blah. Now it may come off, hey, why are you calling? Why are you calling? You have that kind of attitude. But at the same time, I can imagine this is someone who prior to this never had to ask for food. And the pride takes over. So I'm sure she will not hang out a white flag, but at the end of the day, she wants to eat. So this, people use a certain veneer, a certain cover up. No, I'm okay. Because she kept saying, because we were asking, can you send us photos of your kitchen? Can you? Because that is we have an SOP to follow. Because at the end of the day, we need to first of all serve and help those who need it most. We're not picky and choosy, but if you really, really, really need it, we need to find you. So we asked for pictures of a kitchen. We asked for IC and all, and she was like, "Why I need to give you my IC? Why my kitchen not so bad?" Yeah, no one. If you have a nice kitchen, does not mean we're saying, "Oh, you have a nice kitchen," or you don't have a nice kitchen. We just need this for our data. But I understand why this person would feel a front like, "Hey, you're saying I'm poor, is it? You're saying I'm poor, is it?" And that's natural. That's human pride.
You mentioned that you receive around 800 over calls and messages and everything. So it's just you and your wife who is working on it. How do you mentioned SOP? How do you sort of like categorize the various needs?
We also have my brother-in-law and a small team of volunteers, all in different places, compiling the information, putting it on Excel spreadsheets, trying to coordinate Lala move and movement, and we can go personally. So it is, there's a team working on it, a team of volunteers, so to speak. We're not paying ourselves. All of us are volunteers. But what's heartening is that we are also getting messages, calls from people who are saying, how can I help? How can I help? I'm in Malacca. How can I help? I'm in Penang. How can I help? Great. Wonderful. We'll compile. If we find Malacca, there's 40 families here. And then the spider web will slowly spread out. So kudos. It's not all doom and gloom. There are many people out there who are offering to help as well. So much respect to them as well.
Harith, you travel all the way to Johor and drove all the way down last Sunday. Took up the whole day. You were totally exhausted, and you're running all over the country for this. Okay, would you want to consider having representative in all these states instead of running around?
So that's what we are doing now. We are engaging the whole branch rangers to be our point people in. And okay, let's take every state is big, so you can't just say, "Oh, I have a point ranger in Pahang." No, you got to have someone in Raup, someone in Temerloh, someone in Kuantan. So it is. When you actually go out there onto the ground, you will actually see at the grassroots, there's so much, not say so much work, there's so much that can be done, so much that should be done, and so much that's not being done. But at the end of the day, you cannot do so much, but you do what you can to the people that you feel deserve it the most.
Okay. Ni contoh lah, ini contoh. Saya sembahyang, Saya sudah sembahyang. Maksudnya, ada contoh orang kena sembahyang, berdiri di luar. Satu Malaysia boleh nampak, atau kawasan ni sudah boleh nampak kalau dia sembahyang, dia tak ada makanan. Pakailah otak sikit. Bendera yang dia orang nak kibar warna putih tu, apa salah?
Okay, Harith, what is your thoughts on this? Since then, there's been a lot of comments on social media about your response towards the politician who says, no need to put a white flag lah. Just pray, that's good enough.
So I understand the sentiment. I understand the intention of saying something like that. But that's the blanket response is too easy. There are people who say, I'm of the school of thought where you need to pray, but you need to berusaha. You need to work I don't know if it's such that you just pray, drop down on you, or no, everyone will just sit around praying for R1,000,000 to drop down on them, and it's not going to happen. So, yeah, I'm not going to say anything detrimental or rude against that thought, but go ahead. Yeah, combine both. Pray and work hard.
I'll give my 2 cents worth, okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, I mean, as a journalist, I'm trying to interpret this whole reaction. Obviously, that if you look at the political situation, I mean that none of the political parties reacted to the white flag movement. Generally, they know that, well, it's the right thing to do, okay? Even if we do not want to support it, but generally, let's just keep quiet because it's a great initiative. You can't find fault with an initiative that's generated by the people. So you can see that most parties just kept silent. Some have actually joined in. Plus decided to take a different stand. I'm trying to understand why. It could be because most of the past stronghold are in poor locations, rural areas, for example. They are quite afraid that their position in dispensing patronage or help has been challenged, and that there are people deciding to do this, and they will look bad because if I'm in an area which is very rural and suddenly everybody put up white flags, as an MP, they may think that I'm not doing my job, So I feel been threatened. I can see that. I think that's a general response, and they also have their grassroots NGOs doing this kind of thing. So what they just been threatened politically. I mean, I agree that you need to pray. I mean, the Rukun Negara says that kepercayaan kepada Tuhan, that's number one. And we are all God-fearing people. But God also said in whatever religion you are in, God help those who help themselves. And you have to do something for yourself and to help your fellow human beings. As you say that, don't just think of yourself as Malaysians anymore, or you're a Malay, you're Indian, you're Chinese. But in this boat together, we are thinking we must help each other as human beings. And when you use the word as human beings, I said, wow, that was really, very powerful. I mean, why are we wasting time arguing over political reasons, right? If you want to help somebody, just help, right? So, I don't care whether you're yellow flag, orange flag, we just help.
The reason I threw that in is because I was just thinking, because what will happen is, saya Malaysian, saya akan tolong Malaysian. No, a quarter, if not less in this country, are not Malaysian, but they are here, they're working, they're contributing, they are laborers, they're your neighbor. You can't have this, yes, I'm proud of being Malaysian, I will help Malaysian. No, I'm proud of being Malaysian, I will help human beings.
Because a lot of these foreigners, whether they're legal or illegal, they are already part of our community.
Yes.
And vaccination-wise, if you do not vaccine them because they are foreigners, they will just pass it to us. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So we are all in this together. And that they have also suffered because if markets are locked down, shops are closed. We know a lot of the security guards, okay, the helpers. Look, a lot of them are not legal. We all know, okay.
Yeah.
So let's not bluff ourselves, okay. Even some of the caddies which are in clubs helping the rich to play golf, I'm not too sure if they have been vaccinated. Okay, so they need to be vaccinated and they need help too, because like if Malaysians are affected by this COVID pandemic, they have lost their job. A lot of them have also lost their jobs. If you do not help them, then they are desperate, they turn to crime, and we're all affected. So, there's this myopic view when people say that, don't help those who put up white flags. I cannot believe it. And then there was also this statement made by a politician who says that, yes, we must pray. Of course, we got to pray. But if you adopt certain religious system or political system or government, then indirectly, that the COVID problem will go away. I'm like, it is for real. I think you posted that, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, he is a politician. So at the end of the day, I understand also the technique, the trick, because that person was not speaking he was not going to change anyone's mind who already did not believe in him. He was actually strengthening the people who are already supporting him. And that's an old political ploy. If I'm Liverpool supporter and I go, Liverpool are the best team, the 100 people who support Liverpool are going to go, yes. The other 1,000 who support Manchester United are going to say, hey, what are you smoking? So when I say Liverpool are the best team ever, I'm not trying to change other people's mind. I'm just trying to shore up the support I already have to show that, yes, I am of this belief, and you guys can see that I'm championing this belief. So his statement was not designed to, and of course,
Yeah.
most netizens were out there going, "What are you smoking?" But I could see that, that's what it was not. His intention was not to convert anyone. His intention was
Yeah.
just to strengthen those who are already following him.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the statistics, if you look at the statistics, I mean, there are all kinds of countries have been affected by COVID-19. There's no escaping. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter whether you're a Catholic country, Islamic country, or a Buddhist country. Everybody has been hit. So that's the situation we are in. Okay, now I just want to ask you this. To take a step back. Okay, you tell me more about your Hope movement. You started it before the COVID-19. What prompted you to start this movement?
Actually, technically, we didn't start it officially before COVID-19. Officially, we registered it during the MCO. But what it started off as anything starts off, two people, in this case, me and my wife, going, "Hey, what can we do to help this person or that group of people?" That's how it starts off. Then you help. And then when you help someone hears about you and they say, "Can you help me?" And you go, "Okay, I'll help you as well." Then it just grows. And then it comes to a certain point where you can't be taking out your own funds, your own money to help everyone. So you say to yourself, we're going to need some support. Then you rope your friends in. Yeah, don't worry, bro. I support you. I help you here. Then it comes to a certain point that even that's not enough. And we need to start raising funds from the public, because I can't just rely on my friends to pay for everything and myself. So what started it, to the point that it is now, it's registered, we are ROS, we have a proper bank account, and we're accountable. We have all the numbers and the data. But like I was starting before, it really starts with one person or two people saying, "How can I help?" And in this case, for example, during when COVID-19 first hit, or the lockdown first hit, March 18, 2020, it started with me thinking, how can I help my friend Dato Munira from Petiwi with her homeless during this time? And my wife thinking, how can I help my colleagues and friends in hospitals who are now become frontliners and facing PPEs and hospital needs all day. So it just started with that. How can I help my friend? And then it just grew from there. But going back to what I said earlier, imagine if everyone had that thought of mine. How can I help this one friend? And everyone takes on one friend or one person. We would be able to help a lot more people.
Many NGOs depends on corporates for donations. I mean, because they have money. But since the MCO, many of these companies have found that their revenue and their profits have taken a dive. Many have also laid off their staff. And when these companies are affected because of the cash flow, it's very difficult for them to provide the donations to NGOs as much as they want to. Can you imagine that someone were to give a few $million to an NGO, and when they are letting go a lot of stuff, the signals and the narrative is quite bad. Optics are all wrong. Do you have problem raising funds at this moment?
At this moment, we are, if you look at the grand scale of things, we are a little bit smaller than that. We have not gone to a big GLC or a big company and asked for, like you say, $1 million. We're aiming to do that in phase 2 or phase 3. But what we are heartened is that a lot of smaller companies have stepped up. A lot of smaller companies, not at a huge scale, but the difference between collecting 100 or 500 from someone and the difference in collecting 5,000 from someone, it makes a huge difference. So yes, the smaller companies, basically companies that are led by one person, one person can make the decision. Okay, sign this check off. When you, of course, as you know, when you deal with corporates, then you've got stakeholders, you've got a committee, board meeting, and then the time process, and then they got to make the decision. We are laying off 100 people here. How can we give 100,000 there, etc., etc., etc. So we totally understand that, but there are a lot of, I would say in general, Malaysians are kind. We are kind. The loud ones on the social media are mostly the fanatics, but there are many kind people out there.
What do your NGO Hope needs most, so that which Malaysians can send to you or contribute to you? What is your wish list?
Well, wish list right now, we're focused on these what we call care packs. So we're reaching out to people like KK Mart, 99, Tesco, and all, because what are the basics? Rice, diapers, baby's milk, oil, cooking oil, onions, vegetables, fish, meat. So just these basics in scale, as opposed to us collecting 10,000 ringgit from different people and going out to NSK to buy, coordinating some kind of effort where, boom, okay, KK Mart 99, whatever, and I'm just using those names out of the blue. Say, here is, 100 kilos of fish or 100 kilos of rice or whatever, and just getting that out to people, because at this moment, for the next few months, we are talking basic necessities to allow people to ease their burdens such that they can then focus on health, cleanliness, job hunting, and other things. But keeping them alive at the moment, that's the most important. So you got the B40, you got the M40s dropping to the B40s, the B40s dropping into I don't know what category below that, and just preventing that category from disappearing altogether, or getting into crime, committing suicide. We know that's a huge problem right now, and just losing that that society, that layer of human beings, of Malaysians.
Harith, remember now, I refer you to this case, the Kota Damansara low-cost flats.
Yes.
And thousands of people stay there. I mean, usually when we talk about poverty, we always forget about urban poor. Urban poor is really a serious problem if you live in Klang Valley. In this area in Kota Damansara low-cost flat, there are thousands of people. Many of them have lost their jobs. Huge number of people who are affected by COVID-19, single mothers, big families. There's no such thing as social distancing in this small flat. If you have been infected by COVID-19, forget about quarantine. The rooms are just too small, and that people have lost their jobs and they really need food. You immediately took up by reference and you went to Kota Damansara. Share with me what were their needs and what were the concerns there?
Well, everything that you said just now, you just have 5 or 6 blocks of people with hundreds, if not thousands of people cramped up into this one spot. And here is the thing about being urban poor. Coming back from Johor and other smaller towns, the rural poor have actually more space to work with. So if you are rural poor, you can literally, potentially plant your own sayo or tomato, whatever. You have the ability. Your rent is not high. You're probably staying with a family or a friend or a family's family. So the scale of what you need it's much less in terms of financial. When you are urban poor, you're in an apartment that is 350 ringgit a month, and you're in it with 7 other people, and you're stuck in that space. And everything that comes along with being claustrophobic, bills on it, rubbish, dirt, uncleanliness, because you're all trapped into this area. So the basic needs are, number one, I would say dignity, but you can't just give that. But to be able to just, for me, the hardest part is when you see children or babies, because I have children, and I can't imagine giving them something that is not the best. I can't imagine giving them cordial syrup because you don't have any water or milk. When you see that, you're like, oh my God. Now, if you were in a kampung that was wide open, or fairly wide open, at least you can take the baby out, and you take the baby out of a flat. If you don't hit the barbed wire, you're going to hit motorcycles and other noise. So just in general, the standard, the quality of living in urban poor, we're not even talking about food, or the quality of environment is less, which is why when people retire and they have money, they don't retire into a condo, they retire into a Ulu Langat or Kuala Selangor or Langkawi, because you retire into open space. Because end of the day, fresh air, sunlight is almost the best medicine for your soul. So quality, that little undefinable point, is actually what most people are looking for, and the urban poor have it the hardest.
Harith, that I've got this question. All this work that you're doing, this charity work, how has it affected your work? Because I know that you still have got to earn a living. You have got scripts to write. You have video to make and bills to pay. What about you?
Yeah.
I mean, this is taking away your time.
It is. I don't see it as taking away my time. I value the time that I've spent in it. At the same time, I'm getting an equal amount of. Fortunately, I'm blessed to be getting equal amount of corporate work as before, and it's all done virtually, and it's all done online. So the time I spend not traveling to a meeting in a car, or not traveling to the office it can be replaced in that way. So there are pros and cons to virtual worlds, to staying at home. But I'm blessed that I still have the income and the ability to work on corporate jobs, on corporate writing, corporate talks, corporate shows, etc., from where I sit, basically at home. But at the same time, I value, not monetarily wise, I value the experience of doing what we're doing with the whole branch. I value the people I've met, the friendships that have come out of that by strangers who have stepped forward to help and then become friends. So anything you do in life, there is value to it. And if you just look at the ringgit sign, then if you just focus on that, then that's not value to me. But the value I've got from the friendships and people that I've met have been equally as rewarding, so to speak.
Harith, I've known you for decades, for years, okay? I never imagined that both of us will be talking so seriously, okay? So seriously. Oh my God, Harith, you know what's the problem?
Yeah.
In this country, that the comedians have become serious and the politicians have become comedians. That's the problem.
I know, right? The amount of people who have asked me, bro, become a politician. I said, are you crazy? Like,
don't go to the other side.
No way. Like, why put yourself in that mud slinging arena?
Yep.
I'd rather be able to sit outside and laugh at the same time.
Thank you, Harith. I mean, you have been really fantastic. I hope all our listeners here tonight would support what Harith is doing. Please support Hope and do what we can to help our fellow human beings, not just Malaysian, our fellow human beings and the people around us.
And
because
thank you to you as well, because your podcast or your show is getting a lot of traction. You're having some wonderful guests, and it's good that people are in dialogue and conversation and just spreading a little bit of awareness. The mood of the nation is a bit difficult at the moment, and kudos for trying to poke a hole through to the other side where we can all laugh again and be as normal as possible again.
And as Harith said, we're in this together. We take care of each other. Kita jaga kita, and let's stay together as Malaysians and from Malaysia. Thank you, Harith.
Thank you.
Good night, Malaysia.
Good night.
And Malaysians around the world. All right.